What country has the least amount of blood on their hands? If we're going by GPI, Iceland. Thought their history isn't clean by a long stretch. I don't think Sealand is internationally recognized, but it's got 4 residents and there's been very little violence. Own blood on their hands if we're saying never been in a war. Vatican City hasn't, but also the Pope has historically been a figure that definitely was okay with war and state burnings. Rip Galileo. The real answer is probably San Marino. Never been in a war. Politically neutral on a world scale, and they've been around a long time. Canada is slowly losing the blood on its hands as immigrants from around the world make up the country now more than any English and French settler offspring. And a lot of white settlers didn't come with malicious intent. My ancestors were from Russia, Germany, and were passive Mennonites that had their lands and families wiped out. They came and farmed and killed nobody. None of them at all. If they didn't actually kill that many people, they abetted someone else doing so. Look at fucking Switzerland. Who would like you to think they are all cows and banks and chocolate? But they sell lots and lots of killing machines. CHang Business Switzerland's war material exports reach record level 48,338,420. Vatican City, which was established in 1929. Technically, they've never been in a war, and I'm not sure I count complicity under duress WW2. If you posit that because it is a theocracy ruled by the Roman Catholic Church and attribute the crimes of pre-1929 Catholicism to them, and of course not. But they weren't a country yet. Probably something like the Maldives or some small island nation. Or Bhutan. Kind of interesting to see all the people who've forgotten. There are nearly 200 countries in the world and most of them aren't in Europe or North America. Vatican, seriously. Transnistria. It has like 12 people living there and isn't even recognized as a country. Apparently they have great cognac and even greater corruption, but they don't appear to be attacking other countries. Why in the world would anyone think such a relatively arbitrary definition of a people group is a satisfactory condition to answer a question like this? List some qualifiers. For Christ's sake. Well, probably the most recent country that came into existence. They didn't have much time yet to bloody them. Let's just pretend that the country only started existing after the bloodshed. I'm going with Iceland or San Marino. Iceland doesn't even have a political way to declare war. Iceland has the death of only 300 people since the year 1003. I would say that's rather low. I think a proper way to find out would be calculate the per capita killings per country. Otherwise, countries with low populations and relatively ignored by world politics will top the list. Probably the US. It's younger than everywhere else, so it hasn't had much chance to do anything really terrible. That's probably why everyone hates it too. It behaves like a cocky teenager. South Africa has some issues with corruption and anti-union activity, but the fact that they went from apartheid to equality without bloodshed is unprecedented in human history. Jamaica. Since being independent, we have only helped protect other small countries from their invaders. We also helped to stop apartheid in South Africa. Ireland have never invaded anyone else's land. And since the foundation of the state, their only international involvement has been as UN peacekeepers. Romania. They were forced to fight and take sides, but they never invaded their neighbors. They killed in order to defend, not to invade. Not one nation does not have blood on their hands. Go ahead. Prove me wrong. But every country, every nation, has blood on their hands. Ireland's got a pretty good track record. Our only major conflict has been with England, and they're the ones responsible for that. Ireland is so very low on the murderous rampage list. They've been messed with relentlessly, but never really been the aggressor. Liechtenstein, only country ever to leave with an army of 80 and come back with 81 as they made a friend along the way. The Vatican, although it also could be argued they have the most blood on their hands, albeit indirectly. Kosovo, because while they call themselves a country and some call them a country whilst others don't. I think this question works better with nation. Instead, like the Aborigine nation, for example. What does the question mean? A country is not a moral entity, Only individuals take decisions. I don't know too much history, but if I could guess, it'd be friendly old EU hosting Belgium, the Faroe Islands. And sure, the bastards are plotting something, but they haven't struck yet. Liechtenstein. They went somewhere with the military, brought a friend back. -1 lost. Probably one of the microstates of the world or one of the island nations in the Pacific. Switzerland knives the Swiss army carry are no match for machine guns. Iceland, they have no military and the island was uninhabited when discovered. Never hear shit about New Zealand. Maybe I'm wrong though. I avoid watching news. India has a very bloody history, but most of the fights were contained inside. Iceland has a wonderfully peaceful and progressive history compared to many. To quote Andy Dwyer, how about Germany? They've never been the bad guys. I would say Denmark. We mostly murdered Swedes, so does it really count? America only kills people when it's right and just. So probably America. Switzerland has not a lot of money on their hands, but in their books. Recently, Sweden. They haven't been part of a war since the 1800s. Switzerland. Heard they are very neutral in everything. And India. Sentinelese Island. Unless they kill their own. Which I doubt. Ireland. We didn't kill anyone, but fuck if they didn't kill us. Ireland. Yeah, they fought Britain but was kinda justified. Iceland maybe. I never hear of them getting into anything. Obviously the Vatican. Good Christians don't hurt people. We've all been pretty horrible at one point or another.